Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Elevate Your Equity podcast, where investors with a special emphasis on couples begin, continue, and deepen their journey to financial freedom together using the powerful vehicle of real estate investing to do it. Today, we have an awesome podcast show for you. We have yours truly, Derek Clifford. And we're just going to be having a casual conversation and talking about what's been going on with us. It's been a while since we've done a personal podcast show where we talk about where we are in our lives and what we're up to. So this is going to be a unique and special show because Derek just left his W-2 job. And so we're going to be talking about the whole process, where he's at and what he's feeling. How are you today?
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you. And this is a nice surprise. I actually didn't know that we were going to be recording this podcast until about 15 minutes ago. So I'm pretty excited to be here and also really, really happy to be able to share some of this news and also give some of our listeners, some takeaways and maybe some inspiration if you want to do the same.
Awesome. And, maybe you can talk about when that decision was first sparked, and then we can talk about what were the conversations at home like, and what was just the psychology behind the different stages of you working through this decision.
Yeah, so this is a multifaceted question. And, for the listeners out there, I hope that you can pull away something from the story because there's kind of a lot of different layers that feed into making this decision because it is a big decision. When you leave your job, that's a really big decision, especially if, for instance, the other partner, like in our case, doesn't have other W-2 income or health benefits or things like that. So it's something that has to be really planned through and thought out, right? So for me, there was 3 levels of readiness that I had that kind of helped with all this. The first one was mindset. That was probably the biggest one. The second one was knowledge, like understanding that I have a skill set. And the third was network. And when I understood that all 3 of those pieces were in place, I had everything that I needed to be able to go. But I want to go a little bit deeper into each one of these aspects real quick. And then, maybe we can talk a little bit more about, any questions that you have. And then we can talk about what the future holds for us or anything else you want to talk
about. Before we dive into 3 aspects, let's give our listeners just a kind of a catch up and update on where we've been, where we are. Because like I said, it's been a while since we've
sure
done a podcast with just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
So the last time I think we did this was in Yosemite. And we're about 3 months into our digital nomad journey. It's been amazing so far. So let's just kind of recap where we've been. So in May, we sold our house. We took off to Palm Springs. And then we went to San Diego. And then we went to Dana Point, saw family in Southern California and LA, Yosemite. And then afterwards, it was Mammoth Lakes. And then after Mammoth Lakes, it was Tahoe. And after Tahoe, it was Reno. And so in Reno, Tahoe was just a playground for us. It was so amazing.
And then we also had an awesome experience by bringing Sophie's parents out. I love my in-laws dearly, and having them come out to join us in such a great place such as Tahoe was really incredible. And they really had a great time. They actually spent maybe it was 24 hours in the lake or something. Like if you add up all of the time that they spent in the lake, it was really cool.
It was so wonderful to see my mom and dad. They were just so happy. It was actually their first time truly being in the mountains. We got them hiking sticks and we went hiking for the first time. It was just great to see their faces. They were like kids again. And that lake just draws you in. And it's so sad that we're wishing and hoping for the best for the wildfires down there in South Lake Tahoe. But I only have fond memories. We took them kayaking and just had a wonderful time with my mom and dad. And, after that, we went to Reno. And that's when the wildfires really started kicking into high gear. It was just smoke. It looked like fog. We were on the 16th floor of a high rise in Reno, and we actually had to leave early because the smoke was affecting all of us so badly. When we made that decision, we drove from Reno to Salt Lake City, which was wonderful and beautiful. And after Salt Lake City, Derek had a GoBundance conference in Park City, Utah. Do you want to?
Yeah, so that was really cool. So
actually, it wasn't in Park City. We spent time in Park City with your mom and dad.
Right, that's right. Yeah. So Park City, we had some, like, we spent a lot of time there. And then we had this crazy whirlwind trip where we got under contract on the 29 unit. And the only time in which the inspection window would allow us to go in and actually look at the property was in a time frame where we were in Park City with my mom and dad. Because the following week we were going to be tied up in Steamboat Springs for a GoBundance event. So, the Steamboat Springs and Park City is what, like 7 hours apart or something like that. And so it would be very hard for me to break away. And I don't want to break away during a GoBundance conference to go fly out to Indy to walk a property. So what we decided to do was we made it a family affair, and we brought my mom and dad who were visiting us in Park City while we were out there for about a week or two. And they came out with us to Indianapolis to walk an apartment building. And it was just an incredible experience, just because not only do we get to enjoy time with them, in art festivals in Park City and everything, we also got to show them what we do as real estate investors. And we got to show them what it is that we look for, and got my dad involved. And he's very handy. And so he was really curious. And my mom loved the investment side. She likes to make money from her money. And so it was really, really a cool experience for us to all kind of bond over. So that was Park City. And then we went to Steamboat Springs. And then in Steamboat Springs, I spent basically the entire week at this GoBundance conference meeting incredible people in GoBundance who have just been an inspiration to me. And I got to listen to people's stories, and I got to share mine, and really just get to know a lot of these fantastic people face to face and learn some great things. And meanwhile, Sophie had exponential leaps and bounds when she was able to not be distracted by my presence.
Well, actually what had happened was, I think with all the traveling, being in Indianapolis for like 18 hours and being in,
Yeah.
airplanes and airports, I got a really bad case of pharyngitis, and I actually lost my voice and just kind of laid low, and decided, I'm just going to focus on my business. And, what they say, it's like when something's your passion and you just love it, it doesn't feel like work. Well, I was sick as a dog, and I still worked about, 10 hours a day, and really excited to give you guys updates on what's coming down the pipeline for me in terms of wellness and high performance, and supporting entrepreneurs in that realm. But today's for Derek, and and so after that conference, we drove out we're here now in Derek's hometown, where he grew up and where he went to high school and college, in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Just absolutely beautiful. If you have ever been here, if you haven't been here, you need to come and check it out. And so, I'll just kind of give kind of a backdrop. So when Derek's mom and dad were in Park City, this was about weeks ago.
Yeah.
Derek his last day at his W-2 was going to be in Colorado Springs, which is going to be really, really cool. So we decided to throw him a party. We decided to throw him a freedom party, do whatever you want party, and make it a surprise. And so the last day of his job, it was kind of anticlimactic. We didn't make a big deal out of it, and he was probably wondering why we didn't. But, the next day treated him to a really nice massage. And when we came back home, his parents surprised him with a huge, really special party. How did you feel?
Yeah, it was really cool. Like after the massage, like I had some wine at the massage place after a massage. And so that a combination of having wine and a massage at the same time, that's going to relax you a little bit. So when I walked into the door, I didn't understand what was happening until like about 15 seconds after I walked in, and I realized that it was all for me. It just didn't register that I would be worthy or deserving of this type of celebration. And so it was really, really cool to see that there were some folks, my family friends, that came out, and my mom and dad were there, and Sophie was there, and they bought me all these gifts. And, we had an ice cream cake that actually melted because my dad accidentally put it in the wrong freezer. And yeah, long story, but it was a really, really flattering, and very it was really great to have that support from the people around me. And just the willingness to say, this is for you, and for all your hard work, and this is it's the beginning of another journey. So there's more hard work ahead, but it was really cool to see that. Yeah.
So being with this man for the past 11 years, and being married for 6, I've seen kind of behind the scenes, and I know all the hard work, all the self-development, all the deep reflection and exploration that he's put into this decision, and he's put into his life's work, and everything he does with all of his relationships. And I know, I for me personally, to see this unfold has been such a blessing. I'm so happy for you
Thank you.
because like I said, I know what's been going on behind the scenes with everything. And so do you want to show our listeners
Oh
the
yeah,
mug?
yeah. So one of the gifts that we got, which is super cool, is this mug, and it has a special message on it, and it is this one. It is Sunday. The main activity is do. Monday is whatever. Tuesday is the, and Wednesday is F, and Thursday is I, and Friday is want, and Saturday is to do. So basically, the entire schedule for the week is do whatever the F I want to do. And it's really, really cool. And then they bought like a banner and stuff, and they put it up on the thing. So this was super cool. I was not expecting anything like this at all. And so it was just a really great, like, kind of a moment in time for me to be able to stop and celebrate the person that both of us have become, to allow this decision to even come into the fold and then to actually
Mhm.
execute on it. So that's how I view that. So thank you guys for doing all that. It was really cool.
Yeah, and it was just wonderful to see how you light up when, come Monday morning. Has it sunk in? Like, what were you feeling the Monday after your last day?
Well, the funny thing is the Monday after, like, I was totally packed with like podcast stuff and social media calendars and things like that to get ready for helping our virtual professional get our content out there. So I actually didn't even have time to sit back and reflect on it. So even to this day, it's been about a full week since my last day. I still am kind of in this mode where it feels like vacation. And so it still hasn't quite sunken in yet that I'll be in. There was the moment where I shipped all of my computer and laptop and keys and everything from my previous job as a project manager at a utilities company. I sent all those things away via flat mail to all the places they needed to go. And so that was kind of weird to do that, to not see, my computer equipment or any of my equipment anymore for my full-time job. But it still hasn't sunk in because we've just been so busy, right? I'm sure that it will in shades, and we'll find out how that goes in the next week or two.
I'm just curious too, again, from the standpoint of being your wife, how do you want to structure? Like, what does your perfect day look like?
Mm, yeah. So, I took a stab at doing this in preparation for me leaving, because I wanted to have like kind of a nice way to, and you know that you and I have been trying to coordinate our schedules so that we can work within and on each other's businesses as well. So that's really important for us. Basically, took a list. This is something for you guys to take away if you want to. But I basically made a list of all the things that I think I'm going to be doing, when I have my full-time job not in the picture anymore. So I listed everything out, and then I categorized them by saying, okay, what type of time use is this? Is it focus time? Is it flex time? Is it consultation time? And then I basically took all of that and I put it into like little blocks throughout the day. And I figured, okay, well, how much time what does my ideal day look like? How much do I want to spend doing all those activities today? And I landed on self-care being about 3 hours. And it was in the morning, where I do my one thing first, which in this case right now is Hunter Thompson's Raise Masters course, because that's what we're trying to do, is raise capital. And then also do the Miracle Morning. So those two things are like the top of my agenda and the very first things that I do. Then after that, I have focus time from like 9 to noon, wherever in whatever time zone we're in. That's going to be time for me to work on projects. That's going to be time for me to work on things to prep up for the virtual professional, and to like get everything coordinated so that we can achieve the goals, do all the underwriting and everything like that. 3 hours every day. And then an hour for lunch for a break. And then after that is flex time from 1 to 5 p.m. in my local time. And in that time frame, that would be where I have consultations. So it's either, I'm talking with someone or I'm speaking with investors or whatever. It's basically half the day for me to be able to do all of that stuff. And then if there's no one to speak to, or if I really want to focus on a project, I can block myself out and use that flex time as focus time as well. So that's kind of how we structured the day. And then I hoped to be able to end by 5 every single day. That hasn't been happening these last couple of this week, because there's still some trickle over from when I was working a full-time job. People were scheduling appointments during the hours in the evening after my full-time job was there. But I think now that we're moving past that, we'll be able to achieve a lot more control on our day.
Nice. And what emotions are you feeling? Like you said, it hasn't completely set in yet, but on the happiness scale, 10
Yeah.
being
So
amazing.
I
Where are
think
you?
I'm pretty sure like that you know the answer to this, but because I've been increasingly happier each passing day. And I think it's just because like we've been hitting lots of success. Like we've been getting, we've been finding lots of deals in Indianapolis with one broker that we've used for a couple of deals already. And then of course we're always underwriting new ones, and the possibilities and the networks and people that we're talking to, like it's been great. Plus being able to spend time with my parents has been fantastic. And being here with Sophie and being able to travel anywhere we want to go and make plans and everything is just an exciting time. And I like that kind of thing. I like being able to kind of navigate some of these new living experiences. And so I would say that my happiness has been on an upward trajectory for quite some time now.
And that's, and that's the important thing I think, to point out, it's hopping into an entrepreneurial role is not for the faint of heart, as you all may know, but I think that hopping into the entrepreneurial role can exponentially increase your happiness if it is the right role for you, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And so, okay, so go ahead and dive into the three components that you mentioned earlier, and give us a deep dive into that.
Yeah. So if you are thinking about quitting your job, right, like there's a lot has to go behind that. And for me, like there's the mindset piece, the knowledge piece, and the network piece, right? So the first thing that's the most important is mindset, because that really drives everything else that you're looking to do, right? So if you're looking to leave the job, the mindset piece is like, what are your fears? What are you afraid of? Do you know what you're going to be doing after you leave your full-time job? Like, can you actually like pull the trigger? Can you actually do it? And then also in terms of mindset, what is your spouse's mindset like? Is your spouse able to support you through all that? Like that's all pieces that kind of comes into that. And I highly recommend, because mindset is so individualized, I can't really give you, a set formula that will help you become ready on that one aspect of the three to be able to leave your job. But I would say that starting with performance coaches and getting yourself surrounded by other people who are looking to do the same thing that you are or already there, that's a great first step, because then you'll draw inspiration from them, right? And then you'll start asking questions and your mindset will start to kind of catch up with them. And then you'll get to a point where your mindset will be so far ahead that you're like, I have to leave my full-time job. Like I am holding myself back. I'm holding back our potential in our future if I don't do this. And that's kind of where we are right now. So that's mindset. That's number one. Number two is knowledge. This one you can control, absolutely. And I do recommend that you do that. If you leave a job and you have no skills to transfer into after your job is over, all I got to say is that's ill-advised. I wouldn't do that. I mean, you can, it just depends on your personality. Like if you're willing to work really hard and you have a long enough financial runway, it just depends on what your formula is. But I would say that, getting yourself squared up in knowledge and what you want to do and becoming an expert in that field will help make the transition easier, because you'll know that you'll have something to work with when you leave. Okay. So whether that is, um, you know, basket weaving, or you like to make lemonade, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is that you have, if you have that skill, like just make sure that you're the best at it and that you've honed your craft and you've tested it just a little bit while you're working your full-time job, so that when you have something to go into, you have a track record and you have something that you can tell people that you've done before. And so that's really, really important. And then the third thing is network. So for network, like that's pretty self-explanatory, but surrounding yourself with people that can give you the support that you need in the case that you have a problem while you're out on your own, that's great. You can always go back to finding a job again. Like that's always a thing that you can do. And that's also part of the mindset piece that we worked through. But having a network of people that support you in what you're doing right now, they will go to bat for you because they've helped you make the decision, right? They understand where you are and they know what you're going through. So they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that you're successful in your journey. And so for me, that was the GoBundance group. Meeting with the GoBundance group, talking with them, joining them back in February this year. A lot of people have been encouraging me to take this path, and a lot of them have already done it. And so being in that group helped gave me the extra confidence, the extra little boost. Even though my mindset and knowledge was already there, that network gave me the tools, the final tool that I needed to be able to make my decision. And then, of course, beyond those three things, there's the finances too. You got to make sure that you're ready financially. And so that's what we did too. We sold our house and we used some of that cash as like a seed, as an insurance seed, so that in case anything happens with our income, because Sophie's business is picking up, we're making money as well on the real estate front and our joint ventures, and all the passive income that we're getting from our apartment buildings. That's helping, but it's not nearly replacing what I had at my full-time job. So we have to have this pad, the security pad, available so we can continue to invest and continue to add value in places, and also have this sense of security. So that's a number that you're gonna have to figure out yourself. But I highly recommend that if you can calculate about 6 months to 18 months, depending on whether you have kids or not, to be able to do that, keep that in the bank so that you have it liquid and available for anything that you need in case something doesn't go according to plan your business. You can give yourself a fair shot before you have to hang the hat up and then go back to working a full-time job. So that's kind of where we were with that. And again, this is all inside the context of leaving the full-time job so that you can unlock or start to unlock the 3 degrees of freedom. First one being location freedom, second one being time freedom, which is exactly where we are now. We have location and time freedom. And the third one is financial freedom. That's when you have the full ability to buy whatever you want or live a lifestyle that you're used to without having to worry about finances. So we're still working on that last piece and we're getting there. But the first two are really important for us to be able to step into that abundant life right now and live it right now. And so that's kind of my spiel on all
That's
this today.
awesome. And with those 3 freedoms, yesterday when we were talking with Tate, an amazing podcast,
Yeah.
and I hope you guys all listen to it. But he mentioned inner freedom. And I think, that freedom we might want to steal and add on to our add on to our 3 freedoms. But so there you have it. So you have MSN, right? Mindset, skills, and network. So last question I want to ask, again, seeing you behind the scenes by your side every single day, how important is it for you to trust yourself? Because I've seen that skill. It's a skill, right? It's a skill you develop. I've seen that grow and expand within you, but is it a thread that runs through those 3 things that you mentioned, or is it something that's completely on its own?
It is. I think that it's more attributed to the mindset piece for sure, because that's definitely like one major contributing factor. That's the foundation of everything else to make the decision. But our performance coaches, and this is why I highly recommend that you get some coaches in this realm if you really want to be serious about this, is that they pointed out to me, and so did Sophie, many, many times. But anytime I would get in a jam, I would always find a way to land on my feet somehow. And so that ability to kind of reflect and say, yeah, you know what, you're right. Like, even though things are changing right now, and this is an unknown territory for me, I've been in unknown territory before. This is just another hurdle. And having the confidence to know that I've always landed on my feet before in previous times, that has helped me as well. Plus, having the support of Sophie and everyone else, like, it just seems to be a no-brainer that I'm actually holding myself back, staying in my full-time job and trading my time for money instead of building something myself. So yeah, I would say, to answer your question, that it's a common theme that underpins everything. And that's the key for me. I don't know what the key is going to be for you. For you, it might be unlocking fear or, letting go of traumas in the past. There's a whole bunch of things that are holding us back. And we are the ones that hold ourselves back because of fear or something, aversion of something, attachment to something. And so if you can look at that, whatever that is, and first identify it. That's the hard work, is identifying it. Once you find out what that is, being the mental surgeon that you are, to take your scalpel and surgically remove it and take care of it. It will grow back. There are times in which, like, the patterns come back and you have to fight them, but over time it gets easier and it becomes less and less a part of your world. And then eventually you become a new person.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Everyone around you is, and you've done the hard work. And, some people only talk about achieving this dream, but, he's put in like I said, the reflection, the daily deep work. And and really the love for what he does. So there you have it, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us on just kind of this, conversation with the two of us. And so if you want to connect with us, we'd love to hear from you and engage with you. And of course, please like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this. And hopefully we get to meet with you, talk with you in person one day. Please continue to let us know how we're doing because we only want to give the utmost value to everyone out there. All right. So this is Sophie,
And then this is Derek.
and we are signing off.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.